Okay, sweet.
There he is.
Yes. Ha ha. As if by magic. So it was everyone wants to be Chris Collinsworth at least once in their life, right?
Yeah. I was going to say smoke bomb, and there he is.
Yes. So we are going to wrap up, well, semi-wrap up. We have another preview next week, but we're wrapping up the Power Four-ish with, of course, the SEC.
The only conference that matters.
Yes, right. Saving the best for last, some might say. But are they still the best? And that is where we will begin our quest. The SEC has long.
I'm passing it along to you there, Bill. You're welcome.
The SEC has long prided itself on essentially saying that the three F's that matter once you get below the Mason-Dixon line are faith, family, football, but not always in that order. Now, some people throw firearms in there, but whatever. So the SEC has, I won't say a problem because, I mean, they don't have a problem exactly. That's an exaggeration. But if some other conference, and probably most likely Big Ten, is standing and they are not standing on the podium, will people begin to wonder if indeed it truly just means more, or what does more even mean? More what? Because maybe not more championships in the modern NIL era. So that's where we will begin our sojourn today. The SEC still, of course, is a massive, very, very, very well-resourced conference full of football-obsessed institutions and Vanderbilt. So
just a quick jab at Vanderbilt. I like it. I'm okay with it. But
I know you're okay with it. No, I say that because Vanderbilt has lately, though, been feeling its oats, right? This is not your big brother's Vanderbilt that would calmly, quietly go 4-8 every year. Something's happening in Vanderbilt, so we'll talk about that.
Is something happening, or is just Diago just loud enough for people to think something's happening?
Well, that will of course be discussed today. We'll talk about the surprises in the conference. We'll talk about who are there's always their big thing they hang their hat on, of course, is NFL prospects. As always, the SEC has a bunch of them. Mr. Perkins down in Louisiana. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. And we also have to talk about, once again, the college football playoffs. We'll decide, I guess, to some extent, if the SEC is quote unquote back. I mean, it never went anywhere, obviously. But
I get it did. I mean, since NIL and since the college football playoffs, it's been 3 years since Georgia the last time, and you've had back-to-back Big Ten winners. You had Ohio State and Michigan.
Yep. So that is the question, my friend. And let's start. Okay, so when the last 2 years ended, a team from the SEC was not holding up the crystal football, much to their chagrin,
and not in the playoffs in the championship game either.
Right,
like that. I think that's the bigger story too. You had Washington.
There you go. You're right. That's probably the even bigger story. I think there would be less of a wondering if at least they fought whoever it was for the championship tooth and nail and got edged at the end or something, right?
Yep.
They would say, it could have gone either way. But it can't go either way if you're not in the game, right? I've done some checking. So the SEC, if they aren't at least in the championship game, will the whispers begin? But let's begin. Let's begin at the beginning. So the SEC, as always, has brought in a bunch of impact transfers. Well, not always. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, has brought in a bunch of impact transfers. They've lost a few, but they've probably brought in more than they've lost. And I think maybe the big winner or one of the big winners is Oklahoma in terms of the transfer portal game, right? There were some whispers at one point about, is Brent Venables on the, maybe not hot, but at least the warm seat? I think maybe he's off the warm seat this year.
I
well, you tell me.
I don't know. I've always liked Brent Venables, and I thought his time was gone. Like he was just a defensive coordinator for Clemson for so long. It almost reminded you of the defensive coordinator for Virginia Tech for 1,800 years that never got a shot.
Yeah, Bud. Yeah,
Bud Foster.
Foster
Never left. You know, he multiple opportunities, never left, and never got his opportunity. Everybody thought that was going to be Brent Venables at Clemson. Then Oklahoma gives him his shot finally. I like the hire. I've always liked Brent Venables, but he has struggled mightily, and he's struggling to. You think with the coaches, with his pedigree in his past and being around Dabo, one of the best in the game, that he would be a little bit more ready to be a head coach, but he's mishandled quarterbacks. He's mishandled recruiting. He's mishandling everything you can in Oklahoma at Stillwater. And I still think his seat is very warm. If he can't come out 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, I think he could be fired midseason. I think Oklahoma could just say it's not worth it. We got to move on. He was close enough, and then he did enough to kind of keep his seat for one more year. But I don't think I still think his seat is very warm.
Okay. Well, this is a great time to bring in our special guest. So our number 2 ranked FOTS friend of the show, who, as always, is breathing heavily down the neck of our number 1 FOTS friend of the show. Bring down Josh. Josh, wherever you are.
Josh, shout out Josh.
He's coming.
Yeah.
So I was semi-playfully asking, is the SEC quote unquote back, right? Now they never were truly God, obviously, but it's been a couple of years since an SEC school has even played for, let alone won a championship. So we'll start with that. Do you think the SEC is quote unquote back this year? Is at least an SEC team going to definitely play for the national championship this year, Donovan?
Yeah. I think so. The SEC definitely didn't go anywhere. I know they haven't, played in the last 2 national championships, like you said. It was UW and Michigan a couple years ago, and then last year Ohio State and Notre Dame, but still had a lot of teams in the dance. And they'll be back. They'll be back in, I believe, this year. Very deep league, and they've got about probably 9 or 10 contenders, honestly, in that league. It's going to be tough to weed out the teams that are, not going to make the playoffs and everything, but we'll see. I think they can probably get about 5 or 6 teams in the playoff and make it through there and see who comes out on top. There's some really, really good teams at the top, obviously, this conference this year. So, yeah, I think they'll be back.
Well, that's a great place to start. Really good teams. And then we'll talk about some of the teams that are maybe not quite as good. But I looked at Oklahoma long and hard. I went through their roster. And like I said, you talked about the maybe warm seat at one point under Brent Venables. Oklahoma could be a team that I think could make a deep run in the playoffs. LSU probably better be back. Speaking of seats that might be getting warm. Brian Kelly, I mean, his buyout is sizable, but LSU doesn't care about buyouts. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get it done if they decide they're not happy.
They should have never let Ed Orgeron go. Ed built one of the greatest college football teams, and you one bad season because they all left, and you're like, oh, no, let's fire Ed Orgeron because one bad season, and let's bring in douchebag McGee. I hate Brian Kelly, by the way. I've always hated Brian Kelly. There is a burning passion. I hate that man.
I won't go as far as you, but I'm not mad to hear somebody railing on Brian Kelly. Like, I used to really be able to root against Notre Dame, and now I have very mixed feelings because I really like Marcus Freeman.
I know, right? That's me too. Like, I've always hated Notre Dame, but then I'm like, fuck, I really like Marcus. I
really like Marcus. Like, Marcus Freeman is exactly the kind of guy you want your kid to play for.
Yeah,
and Brian Kelly is exactly who you would not want your kid to play for. So they made I'm torn.
That's why kids, like, there are so many kids that have decommitted, transferred, because they just realized how douche it, whatever you want to say for Brian Kelly. Kids don't like Brian Kelly. I mean, you got some that like him, whatever, but a lot of kids do not like Brian Kelly, and that's why you see. I mean, just look when I know this is going back a couple of years, but when he left Notre Dame, one coach followed him. That just speaks terms for yourself. I mean, one coach follows you when you leave your major university because you just up and left overnight. You were the Cleveland Browns leaving Cleveland to go to Baltimore. That is what Brian Kelly did to Notre Dame. He did him so dirty to run off to LSU because he couldn't win in Notre Dame, and he thought he was going to be able to go down to LSU and win. That was such a bad move by LSU. First, to get rid of Ed Orgeron, who built one of the greatest teams, to then bring in Brian Kelly, who is an overrated head coach, who's all he's ever done in his whole career is choke. And then you go hire him. Yeah, I've only liked LSU because of Ed Orgeron, and then you fired him and did him dirty, and it went right back to hating you. It made it super simple, and definitely when you brought in Brian Kelly, I like some of your prospects. I do like Garrett Nussmeier down there. I do think he could be quarterback one in this NFL draft, but I don't know. Has Brian Kelly ever really produced a good quarterback? He's more of a tight end type of guy who can at least make a good tight end, but I don't trust Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly will lose like he normally does, not make the playoffs, and gets kicked out of LSU by the end of the year. I think he could be the surprise fire, and LSU is the big opening job at the end of the season.
Okay. Well, sorry, Jeremiah Masoli and Darren Thomas, wherever you are. My apologies. We apparently no love. Sorry, Marcus Mariota. No love for you either. But
I mean, did Marcus do anything in the pros?
Well, see, where Marcus was the bar. So he's developed some great college quarterbacks, right? He's developed some great college quarterbacks. Shout out to some of the guys he even had back at University of New Hampshire, right? Set record setters, right? At New Hampshire. But I agree. So the first time he really came on my radar was actually I was scouting a guy named Ricky Santos, wide receiver, that played for Brian Kelly. And Santos was nothing special, but Brian Kelly loved this guy and schemed up stuff and made him look amazing. But whatever. This is not why we.
And another reason why I hate Brian Kelly is because he's the reason I had to go through the Butch Jones errors. And he did enough at other schools that when Butch Jones followed him, he was successful enough to get the Tennessee job to then shit his pants at Tennessee. I will always. There's just that extra little hate there too for that.
I can understand that. I can understand someone bringing Butch Jones into your life would make you maybe hold on to some resentment. I can see that. So without thinking too hard, too long, give me your top 4 SEC programs. I'll start with our guest that you see projecting for this year, Donovan. Who do you think are the top 4 in your estimation in the SEC?
Top 4 SEC. Do you want me to go in order or just kind of just name them off?
However they pop into your head.
Okay. Georgia first. Then. I mean, you said how they pop in my head, so.
Yeah, I got you.
Georgia, Texas. I would say Georgia, Texas, Alabama, LSU, and Ole Miss. Is that 5? Did I name 5? Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. That's my top 5. Right on the outside, honorable mention would be Tennessee and Florida.
That was one I kept waiting for. Is Florida?
Those are the two right outside of the. But those 5, yeah, I'm gonna rock with those 5. It's my top 5, probably in that order too.
Okay. Honestly. Yeah. Same question for you, co-host.
Well, I'll work down from 4 to 5. So I definitely think he's mentioned the top ones, but I'm going to start at 4. I think South Carolina is going to be a very good team with Sellers. So 4, I think it's going to be South Carolina. I do like what good old Sellers is going to be doing there with the rest of that team. Then I'm going to go ahead and talk about Ole Miss for number 3. Then it's going to be Georgia at 2, even though no quarterback with Beck leaving. That's going to be interesting. And then obviously number 1 is Texas. I think Texas is the best overall program. It's going to be interesting. Arch Manning He's shown flashes. We joked before after the podcast, Bill, or during the podcast, that there's some quarterbacks out there that are good for 4 weeks, and that's all you want them for. Arch Manning hasn't played consistently, but every time he plays, he's shown flashes that he could be the future. So let's see what Arch Manning has this year. Can he make himself that number one quarterback and go out and get drafted 101 in his upcoming draft? Can he bring back Texas to the world stage and bring them to a national championship in the college football playoffs? But I do like a lot of Texas. I think Nick's I can't say his name right now.
Steve
Sarkisian, thank you, is a very good head coach. I think USC screwed up with firing him. I know that was other issues with his substance abuse problems, but Steve Sarkisian is a very good head coach. So I have Texas as the number one program in the school and the number one team in the nation right now.
Yeah, I like Texas a lot. I just sort of tipped my hand with Oklahoma. I just have a feeling about Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is going to be much better than most people think this year. My only thing I'm worried about, as I usually am, ironically, is defense. Now, Venables is back in the defensive room more now. He's calling defenses. He's designing defenses. He's going to be much more involved. He's going to do a Saban, right? When something's not going well, he gets more involved. So we'll see if that works. But if their defense is improved, I could see them really being better. And when I look at Mateer, if I squint, if I rub my eyes, if I put a little Vaseline in my eyes, I see a little bit of Baker Reagan Mayfield, a little bit when I squint. But he's like a sheen version of Baker Reagan Mayfield, and powerful lower body, a little stronger arm than people think he has. Not ideal height, and a guy that doesn't look like your classic quarterback. He looks sort of like frankly, like a guy that maybe played a little running back in high school, and they probably designed with some plays for him to throw the ball. But I watched a lot of his tape before the transfer, and he's going to play with better players, right? I mean, no offense to the guys he played with before. He's going to be playing with some top end talent. LSU, I think, is going to be in that 4-5 fight with Ole Miss. I think in the sandwich, I have South Carolina right around 3. I think I might have the old Big 12 rivals, Texas and OU, at the top. Alabama might not be in my top 5, which feels weird to say.
I don't think DeBoer is a good head coach. I think DeBoer is the stepping stone for Alabama's next coach. Nobody got Alabama. Nobody wanted to follow Nick Saban. They did not get their first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice head coach at Alabama. DeBoer was way down the list, and he took the chance. I'm not saying DeBoer's not a good head coach, but he's not an Alabama head coach. I think he's going to struggle. He doesn't have we'll see if his quarterback from Washington follows up and plays this year since Milroe is gone. I don't know if they have announced their starting quarterback at Bama yet.
Yeah, Ty Simpson got announced on Monday.
Oh, did he? Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much been known all along he would start.
It wasn't just that the worst kept secret that everybody kind of knew that he.
Keelan Russell's great, man, but he's a true freshman. This team is, I don't know if you're ready to throw it to him yet because he's just turned 18. Freshman.
His time is coming though.
Yeah, Keelan's probably a better prospect, and he could play this year. He's dual threat quarterback, and he runs really well. And he reminds me a lot of. I know this is just what I saw in high school. I know he hasn't played it down in college, but he reminds me a lot of Jaden Daniels, man, from the Commanders. The way he runs and just commands the offense, he has that potential. I thought he was the number one quarterback in the class this year for high school. But I think you kind of want to go with Ty Simpson because he's a veteran. You don't want to throw a freshman out there first. But if the season goes awry, like you said, they will go with Keelan Russell. But Ty's good. I talked to Bill. I told him Ty was really similar to kind of some of the older quarterbacks they've had, like AJ or Greg, or kind of just throwback game manager, good quarterback that won't mess the game up. And Keelan's kind of explosive, so it'll be interesting to see like the dynamic how they play that. To me, I don't think Ty Simpson's like gonna be amazing first round like Tua, Bryce Young type quarterback. I think he's more of like the standard old Alabama quarterback of, like I said,
standard issue Alabama quarterback from 1999 to about 2017.
I like that Ty though, man. He's paid his dues, man. He's obviously his dad's the head coach at UT Martin, Jason. So he's been around football since, like he said, he was born. His grandpa played at Tennessee, started on that team, So I mean, he's been uncle played with Peyton Manning as a walk on. He's got football in his blood. he's also an older junior. No, it's his first time really starting, but he's already 22. Been in that program for a long time, so I'm happy to see him stay at a program, work his way up, wait, like old school style. But yeah, Ty is we'll see. Like you said, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with Ty throughout the season.
I wonder if they will try to sort of mix and match a little bit, sort of the Chris Leak Tebow thing, where maybe
I think so, man. Like I've heard at practices, like Keelan is good, but he's just raw. Like he's like scary raw, where you like don't know if you want to just start him off the gate, especially playing Florida State off the gate. Like maybe if they were playing like UT Martin, his dad's team, Ty Simpson's dad's team, or somebody else, or Mercer, who they play in the end of the year. But like that's a tough, going to Tallahassee first game of the season. I don't know if you want Keelan to play. But I heard that he's looking really good in practice. But just as far as knowing the playbook and stuff like that, he's kind of far behind. Like he's behind Austin Mack, probably. Who I think I don't know if Austin Mack's number 2 on the depth chart or Keelan Russell, but I know Ty Simpson's obviously starting. So yeah, that dynamic build, like you just said, with Tebow kind of not knowing the offense well, but you got to put him on the field. Like, we'll find a way to put Keelan Russell on the field. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Or like. Now, this is a bad example, but Clemson fans, holler if you hear me, when they had Deshaun Watson and Cole Stout, like I'm not comparing Ty Simpson to Cole Stout. I think he's way better than that, but like it was clear off the first game, okay, we got to play this guy. I'm not saying Ty Simpson will be that, but you can't hold down Deshaun Watson for too long. You know what I mean? With Clemson, they started Cole Stout that first game.
Yep.
And then they had some packages for Deshaun Watson, and then turned Deshaun loose, and the rest was history.
Yeah, it's looking at Alabama's schedule. There's a strong chance they can go 1-3 with their first 4 games. They could lose to Florida State. Mm-hmm. They should win against ULM, Louisiana Monroe. They could lose to Wisconsin, and they could lose to Georgia. I mean, if they started 1-3, which is a nightmare scenario, I'm not saying that's going to happen. They'll probably go the opposite. It could be 3-1 or 2-2. But I mean, if they started 1-3, how quick would DeBoer's head be on the chopping block?
If they start at 1-3, the rivers will run red with blood. It will be like,
because that's a tough schedule.
Yeah. So. For those who are familiar with the show called Game of Thrones, there's a scene where they make you walk through the entire town and people pelt you with vegetables and scream shame, and there's a bell rung. Yeah. So it would not be a pleasant experience for Coach DeBoer or really his extended family. Like anybody with his last name will not have a good time of it if they start at 1-3. That would be really bad. So. If you truly dislike Alabama, that's what you're, I'm sure, rooting for is a 1-3 start. I don't have any particular strong emotions towards Alabama as a fan base or a state or a team, but it is interesting to me how they've gone about the post-Saban era. I know it wouldn't have been popular, but I wanted them to go like a whole 180 and find like somebody off the Mike Leach tree, right? And like completely shake it up. And they kind of played it safe-ish. And sort of played it down the middle with a guy who's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but not too much of anything. No offense to Kalen DeBoer. I think he's actually a good football coach, and he'll be great at, I don't know, Fresno State, wherever it is he lands next. He'd kill it at like Tulane. I mean, there's lots of places where
a
Tulane. He just took Washington to the national championship. You guys are putting him in Tulane. That's so disrespectful, man. Jesus.
It is disrespectful. It is a bit disrespectful. But I also think
he got destroyed in that national
championship. He took Washington to the national championship. That hasn't been done since I was born. I'm in my mid-30s.
That is true.
Who took I can't think of his name right now, TCU to the national championship?
Sonny Dykes.
Sonny Dykes.
Yeah, but we're not putting him at Sam Houston. He's still at TCU.
Not for
Jesus.
much longer.
Man, he's going to be the next coach at Nickel State. Whoa, Jesus. Wow, you guys are. That is not how that works.
Well, I mean, he'll be his next job will be Vanderbilt. Don't worry, he'll try to go every.
There you go. There, he gets to stay in the conference.
Man,
actually, Vanderbilt
rough crowd.
Yeah, it is a rough crowd. But let me be honest. I don't dislike Kalen DeBoer as a coach, but I also think he got a little bit fortunate at Washington. I think might be a way to put it. Things kind of aligned or fell a certain way. USC fell off. Like a lot of things sort of came together that allowed that to happen. Oregon had a little bit of a blip. Like things aligned in such a way that if he had to face like the Pete Carroll USC teams, if he had to face as much as you just like Chip Kelly, the Chip Kelly Oregon teams in their prime, they're fighting it out for third in the conference. So things sort of fell. I think he's a good coach. I want to make it clear. And yes, I shouldn't be assigning him to. Well, first of all, Slade's a good program. Wait a second, I'm not going to apologize for saying.
Well, he was already at Fresno State, though. I mean,
I know.
He was good there too. He's been literally good everywhere. He's
been good everywhere. He's been good everywhere. Yeah. Except they did a really poor job of protecting poor Derek Carr this time there at Fresno State. He took a beating.
I mean,
but
hey man.
But once again, we're not here.
That's why Penix got drafted in the first round, is because he built an awesome offensive line for Penix to protect him.
Maybe I mean, you gotta think he was only there for 3 years at Fresno State and Washington. He wasn't there that long.
True.
He was at up in North Dakota for most of his career.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I forgot which college it was, the NAIA school that he was at.
Yeah, and he had success. I mean, he's been, to his credit, he's won everywhere he's been at a bunch of different levels of football. He's a very fine coach. But as much as I hate to,
he's the Butch Jones of Brian Kelly, following good coaches, using their success on their rosters and leaving because he's not getting.
I was with you, Matt. Now I got to step away from you. That's going a little too far.
He's not building any. He's not building a culture. He's not recruiting at those schools. He doesn't stay long enough. He wins off the old coaches. Then he gets a new job and leaves off. He's going to do the same thing at Alabama. He's going to realize, oh wait, I got to try to build and win and be the next Nick Saban. It's not going to work. He's never built and stayed and built a culture long enough. Besides his time in NIL, like in the D1, he was in Fresno State for 3 years. You just said it. He was at Washington for 3 years. He followed a coach, who left for another school, who built a culture, had good prospects, and he won, and then he left. We'll see what he can do. I'm not trying to say he's a bad coach. I'm just saying he's worked his success. He's found and got more money and bigger jobs. He's not the guy to be the keep Alabama in national contention every year.
Heard. So let's get to the middle of the conference, right? We've gone to the top. Auburn, Mississippi State, in whatever order, are going to fight it out to be in a halfway decent bowl, perhaps. Then we'll see. I guess I have to mention the sturdy fighting Commodores of Vanderbilt, who have been making a little noise. Let's see. Other teams.
You might want to. They're not the middle. They
might be a little below the middle. Okay, I have to mention your Volunteers. Obviously, I think they have a shot to be an 8-ish win team. Who else deserves to be?
You want to talk about Tennessee? All right, you've gave a lot of schools out there 10 wins in the Big Ten and the pack. Okay, you've passed out 10 wins all the time. And you're going to say my Tennessee Volunteers that has a top 10 defense is an 8-win team? That's a little hurtful.
I said 8-ish. That means 9 is still on the table.
But I'm just saying, everybody says that we're going to be worse because Nico left. Was Nico a top 50 quarterback in college football last year?
No.
We had a great running attack.
Yes.
We brought 2 of our 3 running backs back. Yes, we lost Dylan Sampson that went in the 4th round to the Cleveland Browns, but then we bring in Star Thomas, running back from Duke, who had 8 touchdowns, 800 yards and everything. Yep. So we have Jerry Maguire, a proven veteran at Appalachian State for a while.
Yeah, Aguilar is a good player.
Aguilar. I mean, all we have to do, Aguilar is not going to be thrown into it. It's like, okay, you're going to throw it 50 times a game to win it. No, that's not what we have right now. We're going to be a run attack team with the defense.
Okay.
I easily see us getting back to 9 to 10 wins. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, we're going to probably lose to Georgia and those guys. I don't think but this is the year. This is the year Tennessee could make a run and push because there is no proof. Like Arch Manning, Hemhaw, Georgia lost Beck, Alabama, you don't know. LSU has Nuss that is the proven starter in the conference. This is the best defense. I would argue that Tennessee has the second or third best defense in the SEC this year.
And okay, so this also feels weird to say, but is Florida going to be above 500 this year? Question mark.
It's all going to be on the head coach and Lagway. Do we think the head coach is the head coach? Billy Napier was like fans were calling for his head when they were starting off slow, and then he magically found his way to be semi good and get over 600 and then kind of finish the season off hot. It's going to be if he could. Lagway's the answer. It's like, everybody's hyping to say that Lagway's the next coming for the Florida State or Florida quarterbacks or in the SEC quarterbacks. And I just don't know. Napier is a great recruiter for some reason. He recruits very well, but he can't coach the talent. It goes back to us talking about the Big 12 last week and good old McGuire at Texas Tech. He struggled with one 5-star recruit with not Matthews. But I can't think of the wide receiver at Texas Tech right now. Is he going to be Florida? He's just been recruiting like crazy. Is he going to be able to manage and recruit and coach all that star-standard talent? I don't know. He struggled to do it the last couple of years. I don't know if Napier's the guy. We'll see. But I think Florida is going to be a 8-win. I think that's strong. They could. I wouldn't be shocked if they go 6. I would say they're 8, 6 to 8. They're middle round.
Donovan, who's the meat in the sandwich in the SEC for you? Who are the middle teams?
You just mentioned like Florida, obviously Texas A&M, Tennessee. Those would probably be the Mississippi State and Vandy. I would say are still at the bottom. Like Vandy probably will get another big upset, but that doesn't mean you moved up just because you got an upset and you're on SEC for Netflix. I like Diego and their swag and what they're doing, but they got a long way to go. I love Barton Simmons. You know that, man. Barton is my guy. That's the director of recruiting over there. They're killing it. Like they really are. They're doing a hell of a job, but I still would say they're at the bottom. They're not the bottom. I'm not saying they're the worst, but middle. Yeah, I would say those teams. Florida with their schedule is just it's rough, man. They have the hardest schedule in the country. Yeah, I would say Florida, Tennessee, and I think I forgot the other team. Texas A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M. Those that would be like the middle of the road SEC schools. Well, I still think they're all like 8-win teams, 7-8-win teams though.
What do we think?
All 3 of those I named. I'm trying to. I would probably say 2. Now, this team is interesting to me. The most interesting team in the conference, Missouri. Because talent, I think they are in the middle, but their schedule is so easy that they actually might win like 10 games. I took their overs. If you're a betting man, I don't know if you guys are. But, yeah, you kind of have to. Like, their schedule's pretty easy. Like, no schedule is easy. We have no idea what's going to go on. We don't know. But on paper, preseason, their schedule works out for them. They're favored in like 10 games, 9-10 games. So they should be a 9 or 10 win team. It's Missouri. They'll probably lose the game they shouldn't. Or, they should lose. So they'll win 7. But that's a weird team. They, like I said, talent-wise, in the middle, especially because they're playing 2 quarterbacks. I like both quarterbacks, but, having 2 quarterbacks sometimes is tricky. And, one transfer in, Bo Pribula from Penn State, and then Sam Horn, who I love, Georgia kid. Baseball just got drafted really high. I turned that down. He's one of the best outfielders in the SEC. He was Travis Hunter's quarterback in high school, by the way. Fun fact, I got to see him play. He's a really, really good quarterback. He's waited his turn at in Missouri, waited behind Brady for a while. So I want to see the dynamic who starts. They're playing both week 1, but I think Bo ends up being the quarterback. To me, I liked him at Penn State last year when he came in for Drew Aller. So, but Missouri's a weird team. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think they're in the middle of the pack with those boys I just named, the 3 teams. But as far as win total, they might actually have the highest win total just because their non-conference is easier than all 3 of those teams, and their in-conference is easier. So we'll see.
The big ones, I guess, we haven't talked about, middle of the meat, you could call it, or Arkansas, Auburn.
The A's. Arkansas' schedule is fairly challenging, and Sam Pittman is one of those guys I find myself rooting for. I'm not sure if he always understands how to build teams for today's football, but he does understand offensive line play. I like that about him and the way he builds teams. But they're another team that seems to not always really have a good sense of how to find the right quarterback. They've had big, strong, impressive-looking people.
Yeah.
But the problem is the ball coming out on time and going where it's supposed to go has not always exactly been a big feature in their offense. So they're another the SEC has a lot of question marks at quarterback, is what I realized.
That's what I'm saying. LSU is the only one with Garrett Nussmeier that is there it is. There's the proving. Everybody I keep saying it, Arch. Everybody wants to talk about Arch and crowning him to be the
Lenore Sellers is exciting, but
I like Sellers. Like Lenore Sellers could be again. I keep saying it. The SEC arguably has the best quarterbacks in college football.
Maybe
with Sellers, Nussmeier, and Arch. You got 3 guys that can go round 1.
Yep.
Potentially. Again, this is all potentially, but I mean, Sellers is built for today's NFL.
Yeah,
if he can continue his path in improvement and development, he could be the best quarterback. Because he's the closest to Lamar Jackson in today's NFL. Not saying he's Lamar. I'm just saying he's the closest to Lamar.
Yeah, he's got qualities and traits. And, I mean, his talent is obvious, right? It's not like you have to look for it. You have to go scanning through a bunch of angles to try to find his talent. Talent just slaps you in the face. But he was late a lot with the ball came out late a lot last year. He stared some stuff down.
Lamar got away with it early in his career.
Right. Got away with it because of his arm strength, but you're not always going to get away with it. Well, so I'm with you on there are a lot of speculation at quarterback for most of the SEC, right? Most of the SEC is speculative.
It's going to be built on defense, and I think defense and the quarterback that can win in a good running attack. It's going to be an SEC. I'm pounding the table for my Tennessee Volunteers. A lot of people think we're going to be garbage. We have a top defense, a top running attack. That's not going to change this upcoming season. We built an offensive line through the transfer portal with proven starters, and it's going to be with any team. I'm not just trying to say that with Tennessee, but that's with any team because of the quarterback situation in the SEC. Any team that has great defense and has a great running attack in the quarterbacks, which quarterback it's going to be in the championship.
So, as we all take a quick cough break.
Sorry, I'm spraying cough medicine.
We all have something's going around. I got it too.
I'm spraying. I'm spraying.
Take a quick cough break. You just said, there you go. You just mentioned the transfer portal, and the transfer portal matters everywhere. Obviously, there's no getting away from it. There are some impact transfers, obviously, in the SEC as well.
Yep.
As you mentioned, Tennessee addressed a real need, largely through the portal. Maybe not 100%, but probably 60%, I guess, of their needs were met in one group all through the portal. And that's going to be the norm going forward, right? I mean, we're going to see teams flip their rosters, in essence, in a year because of the ability to go out and say, go get me this, go get me that. And if you have the right team, the right situation, and you're aggressive about it, you can do it. You can go out and get this or that. So let's take a look at some of the impact transfers. Anthony Hill, finds his way. Well, actually, let me start with some of the guys that I think are. I already mentioned John Mateer. So John Mateer, obviously, from the Palouse, finds his way to where he could do some real damage. And this is a guy that I sort of mentioned the high school running back thing half jokingly, but the guy rushed for 826 yards. Now, this is college 826. So to put that in perspective, tackles for loss, sacks, come off of that when you're a quarterback. So he probably rushed for around 1,000. Then sack yardage knocked him down to 826. The only thing that worried me was the touchdown reception ratio isn't quite where I love it, but still over 3,000 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 15. I want to see a little high. Now, it used to be that a 2-to-1 touchdown reception ratio was great. Now it's kind of meh, but everything else is great. Nick Anderson, right? The well-traveled Nick Anderson finds his way also, from Oklahoma to LSU. Before he got injured, was one of the most impressive prospects I'd seen. Speaking of impressive prospects, Casey Concepcion makes his way from North Carolina State all the way to Texas A&M. Speaking of programs that consistently disappoint, Texas A&M, but he might have a big bounce back year. Damon Wilson is at Missouri, and the Luke Haas finds a way to Ole Miss, where I think he might end up being one of the top 2 or 3 tight end prospects in the conference. And you already mentioned some of the guys that made it to Tennessee. Mentioned the running back. Talk a little bit. You mentioned a little bit. Continue, Matt, to talk about other transfer portal people, Tennessee and otherwise, that you like.
So I mean, we talked a little bit of last week. Tennessee picked up Colton Hood, who was from Colorado. He was a big shutdown corner for those Colorado Buffs last week. The Tennessee Volunteers picked him up for a much needed piece for the secondary. Obviously, we got our starting quarterback, Joey Aguilar from UCLA. After Nico went there, he came to us. So it was like a trade pretty much in the NIL portal. The big pieces that we added on the offensive line is Sam Pendleton from Notre Dame and Wendell Moe from Arizona. Those are 2 big starting guards / tackles that we're going to have on the offensive line. And then the one I've already talked about was Star Thomas, Duke running back, that's going to help replace the Dylan Sampson with the current Peyton Lewis and another current running back at Tennessee. And then the big one that nobody's talking about is an Alabama transfer, Amari Jefferson. He has been killing it in spring training, and he's going to go out there and probably be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for us in this upcoming season. So it's going to be very interesting. And another random small defensive lineman add, Josh Shell from Grand Valley.
There we go. Donovan, I'm going to ask you about some of your favorite impact transfers. You can, if someone's been mentioned, and they're a favorite of yours, you can mention them also. But if there's some guys, especially that haven't been mentioned, tell us about those impact transfers.
Yeah, he mentioned some really good ones. I like Star Thomas a lot and Jefferson. Those are 2 good ones. You guys been talking about John Mateer, so I don't need to do that. You guys talked him up enough. I think his teammate that nobody's talking about, but I know Bill, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him because I know you like him a lot, is Jaden Ott. I think that's the guy that gets Oklahoma. Right? I know everybody's talking about Mateer. He's good. I think he's good. I don't know. Ott was the biggest in the portal for me to Oklahoma. I know that sounds crazy over Mateer, but it was Ott. What he did at Cal, man, him and Fernando Mendoza, because I like both of them guys. What they did behind that offensive line, which was the worst offensive line in the ACC last year, was insane. Jaden Ott is special. I know a lot of guys down there at Cal, man, Billy, you know some too, that have talked to me about Ott, and they're like, we can't lose Ott. We don't want to lose Ott. That's the guy they lost this offseason, and that's big. He's going to come in and be one of the best running backs in that conference in the country again. I don't care where he plays. He's going to be one of the best because the way he plays, man, is just relentless and plays the running back position the right way in 2025. So Jaden Ott, got to give him some love for sure. I'd probably say Zachariah Branch too. His mama don't like him being called Zach, just Zachariah. Call him his full name. So I'm gonna stick with Zachariah.
Respect the mama.
If you watch Georgia receivers last year, you know Zachariah Branch is going to be huge for them. That speed,
Right.
for one, I don't think there's anybody as fast as him in the country, and I also just think his dynamic ability to go downfield. Now I know he only runs about 3 or 4 routes. That's what you're going to get with him. He's got to get his route tree together, but you're using him as that type of guy. You know, you use him out of the backfield a little bit for that. Use him at punt return. Use him at kick return. Use him for just get the ball in his damn hands, in space, and figure out what happens. Because Georgia hasn't had a guy like this in a long time. I know Arian Smith was fast and a track guy too, but not like this. Because Branch is not only fast, he's got a lot of wiggle to him. He put on about 8 to 10 pounds, which is huge because he was only walking around at like. It said he was 180. I know for sure because when I was at Trojan's Wire, I was out at USC practice. He was not 180. Probably 180 now, maybe. But I think he's 177, 180, somewhere around there. But he was like 165, 170. So he put on a little weight. So he might slow down a little bit, but still, man, that speed, if he can stay healthy, which is a big if, he'll be huge for Georgia's offense and Gunnar Stockton this season. So you mentioned Nick Anderson. That's a big one, obviously, as well. Eric Singleton Jr., man, even though I'm not the biggest Auburn fan coming in this season, I think he has a really good year individually for that team. I think he's an all-world guy. I hate that he's gone from Tech, but, I think he's going to do a really good job over there for Auburn and their offense. Another freshman that might be playing a lot, by the way, is their freshman coming into the season. We'll see what they do at quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, the other guy would say, you know what, man? I really like, Patrick Payton too.
Oh.
I left him out. Patrick Payton's a good transfer for that LSU team. And then you said KC Concepcion already, because that one is huge to me. No one's talking about that, but that one's big. Like if A&M wants to be who they want to be,
Tennessee was close to adding KC. They
were, yeah. That's a big one, man. I'm a big Marcel Reed fan. I think he has a really good skill set.
Yep.
I think their offense is actually really low. I mean, I honestly, man, they're like the opposite of Missouri. Like they don't have as much talent as A&M. I think A&M, but I don't want to get suckered into A&M because we do it every year.
Again, this year,
they can be that team where it's like, oh my God, they have enough talent to compete with the top dogs to me because they have it everywhere now, especially in their secondary. Yep. They've gotten their defense a lot better. They're not as deep still to me, but having a guy like that at receiver is huge. I think he'll be one of the best receivers in the conference and the country again. Last one I'll say, just as far as impact, again, I'm not really saying their team is going to be good because of this one guy, but just stats-wise and impact is Luke Cromenoak, coming over from Florida State to Mississippi State. I think I don't know if they have officially announced the starter at quarterback yet, but I think that's a guy that can play. He got in, obviously, games last year where it was rough watching him play. I know he has the talent, but, I mean, that O-line is horrible. And I know Blake Shapen will start at quarterback more than likely, but don't be surprised if you see some Luke Cromenoak at quarterback because he can run and throw the ball. So, and Shapen, plays kind of reckless, as Bill has mentioned before in previous podcasts. We like Blake Shapen, but he does not care about – he plays like he's playing on Madden. He's taking the hit. He's not going out of bounds. He is a tough son of a gun, but kind of too tough for his own good.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how healthy he can stay because I like Blake Shapen at Baylor, pretty good. Definitely turnover prone. Like I said, he's crazy. Like the way he plays.
Got Matt Corral to his game.
He plays like a linebacker, man. Quarterback. Like he plays insane. Like this dude is like built for like old school football quarterback. Like he is really trying to beat your ass and run you over at quarterback, which is not the way you want your quarterback to play all the time. It's cool to be tough and everything, but Blake Shapen, I mean, he's had like 3 concussions in 2 years and had a broken. I mean, he tried to play with the damn broken tibia, and they're like, "You can barely walk, man. Get out of the game." Like, but I like that about him. But I'm just thinking in my head, playing that SEC schedule at Mississippi State behind the kind of average offensive line, Blake Shapen might not make it through the whole season. So I would think Luke Cromenoak maybe, would play. in games. Blake Shapen got taken out of games and he came back in, and he's just, it's kind of like the kid that was at Texas Tech that was in college forever, 7 years, 8 years. What was his name?
Yeah.
The redhead kid that was in college forever.
Yeah, you're talking about
He's kind of
and he's played at Michigan. He played a few, but are you
yeah,
talking about
punctured
Allen?
lung, and
Yeah,
collapsed lung and all that.
The Bowman the Showman, Alan Bowman.
Yeah, Allen, but
Bowman the
he's
Showman.
better than him, but he's a kind of similar quarterback to me. But where he's
Still at
just,
Oklahoma State, right? Am I not wrong? It's me the
Yeah.
third.
Blake
Yeah.
Shapen played with he had a punctured lung and came back in, and concussion, and the concussion scared me though, because as you guys know, a lot of these guys are retiring from concussions now. So Blake Shapen is just, man, he's crazy. Like I said, he's a wild quarterback. I see why fans like him, but he scares the hell out of me. If he played linebacker, that he reminded me of Brian Cushing, but playing quarterback. Actually, that's a good comparison. His comp is, I don't know his actual QB comp, but my comp is Brian Cushing that plays.
Yeah, well, like I said, I saw a little bit of like Matt Corral in his game a little bit, the recklessness, the abandon, the aggression. Okay, so we've sort of danced around surprise teams. I'll go back to you, Donovan. I'll stay with you, Donovan. If there's a surprise team, and this could be maybe one good, one bad. If there's a team that maybe wildly overachieves or wildly underachieves, Texas A&M always could be either one. We always talk about that every year, that Texas A&M could be way better or way worse than anyone thinks at any moment. But who are your teams that you think might wildly overperform or underperform?
Underperform. I'll start with overperform. I'll say Missouri, just as I'm basing this off of total win loss in like Vegas and what people are talking. People never talk about Missouri. They're like the forgotten team in the SEC, obviously, like where they're located, and just they're a newer team still. So I would say Missouri is the team that might win a lot more games.
Okay.
Overrated. I could see. That's tough. Oklahoma, actually, because I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma is gonna be in contention at all. Like, I don't see what people see about them. Like, I know Jay Nott and Matee are good. Like, and I think they'll put up points and numbers and look good in games. But they're like a 7-win team to me. They're not a contender at all. Like, I had an argument with somebody about Oklahoma versus Tennessee, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, but Tennessee's way better than Oklahoma is. Like, Oklahoma has a way better chance to not make the playoffs in Tennessee because their defense. Aguilar is,
as much as I like Brent, I don't think Brent is the guy to make Oklahoma jump. I think he's had. We'll see. I don't know. I agree with you on Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma could be. If you wanted to talk about overrated, I think Alabama. I don't think Alabama. I think Alabama has the name because it's Alabama, because of what we're thinking of Alabama. That's not me as a Tennessee fan trying to hate on Alabama. Alabama has Ryan Williams. I don't think they have much more than Ryan Williams. So I think Alabama is an overrated team. I think they're an 8-7. They're going to struggle. They're going to struggle to get to 9. And then I think Bill's frozen. Bill, are you frozen? You're frozen. And then I would say underrated. I think Auburn. I like Auburn. I like talking about, we keep talking about Oklahoma being overrated. I think how Brent Venables struggled to manage the quarterback situation and how to struggle with the team. I think Jackson Arnold is actually a very good quarterback, or good college quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be pro. I feel like he could potentially be a Bo Nix situation, struggle at one college and go off to Oregon and become the next great thing. So I think Auburn is a very underrated team. I think they could win 8 to 10 games. People are not really expecting to. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen this year. Auburn being very good, and Oklahoma being bad, Alabama being worse than what we expected them or used to seeing them being. I think they were better last year because of Milroe. We haven't talked a lot. Kentucky, I don't think we can expect anything from Kentucky. Kentucky is Kentucky. Mississippi State's going to struggle. Arkansas with Sam Pittman. They are going to probably give a couple people a run for their money and get an upset in there, but I think Sam Pittman's probably going to find himself on the way out. Ole Miss, I think, is another sneaker in there. We haven't really talked a lot about them. I know they lost Jackson Dart and half of that roster, so it's going to be interesting to see what Lane Kiffin can do down there in Ole Miss country. I liked what he said about Missouri. I don't think there's much more to keep talking about Missouri and how they're in the SEC. Still kills me to this day. Let's go and pull up Bill's as we lost him. Hopefully he can get back in here really quickly. But hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to find the rundown. Here we go. So we've talked about some of the best transfers. We've talked about some sleepers. We can go ahead and jump up into the NFL draft radar for the upcoming 2026 season and the 2025 season, but the 2026 prospects. We have mentioned Garrett Nussmeier a lot. We have mentioned Arch Manning a lot. We have mentioned Lenore Sellers a lot. We've talked about the quarterbacks. We can go ahead and let's talk about some of the defenders. We've mentioned a little bit about Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas. Last year, he had 113 tackles, 13 sacks, 25 for a loss, 4 forced fumbles. He is arguably one of the best defenders in the NFL draft. You got Kendrick Falk out of Auburn, the edge, 9 sacks, 17 tackles for a loss. Also, you got some offensive linemen. You got Overton out of Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry. That's LT Overton. Jeez. Edge, another edge gentleman, 8 sacks last year, 12 quarterback hits. Big one, Tennessee. You got Gerard McCoy, arguably a top 20 pick. He's a corner, 3 interceptions, 11 PBUs last year. Another corner out of Alabama, but a transfer from USC. You got Donovan Jackson, the projected day 2 pick, maybe day 3, depending on how he plays. Those are some of the bigger ones. Hopefully Donovan and Bill come back and maybe mention some more, but we can keep it rolling with some other defenders or offense. We can talk about Nick Harbor. He is the wide receiver out of South Carolina. It seems like South Carolina these last couple of years have been just insane with producing NFL talent down there in South Carolina and the Gamecocks. They have been, and I've loved, as much as I hate South Carolina, I have loved almost every damn prospect over the last couple of years and what the head coach is producing down there in South Carolina. And I'm going to struggle with his name because I can't think of his name, even though his daddy was the head coach at Virginia Tech for 20,000 years. And that should give it away, but it's not. And you all are yelling at the screen, who is the head coach of South Carolina? And I am sorry that I am struggling with this. And I'm going to – Shane Beamer. Jeez, there it is. Yeah, Shane Beamer. I've loved what Shane Beamer's done down in South Carolina. He has done a fantastic job building that program up. I mean, I know people have struggled with his production, only 29 wins, 22 losses, with paying him as much as he has been paid. But he has improved almost every year. 2023 season was a down year for that team, but he won 9 games last year, losing the Citrus Bowl. So last year was a very weird season for the South Carolina Gamecocks, but they have a good roster, and I'm going to be interested to see what Lenore Sellers can do for that team in South Carolina. We've talked about some surprise contenders. We've talked about Missouri. We've kept talking about South Carolina. Bill believes that Texas A&M won the portal with the KC pickup at wide receiver. Coaches on the hot seat. Somebody there? I heard noise in the background. Coaches on the hot seat. We got Billy Napier down in Florida. If he struggles, the win. He was already on the hot seat last year. Was able to save it with the hot end of his season. So if he struggles out the gate and Lagway doesn't produce and all that talent that they have spent and got in the portal and recruited, I could see Billy Napier out the way. Mike Elko at Texas A&M should have some more time. Brent Venables definitely could be on the hot seat on the way out. I don't think Kalen DeBoer, I don't even know if he started 1-3, as I joked earlier. I don't think Kalen DeBoer would be on the chopping block in year 2 of his time in Alabama. Hugh down in Auburn, I don't think he'll go anywhere. Auburn goes through head coaches like underwear. I don't know why they rotate so fast and don't give any of their teams any time. So I don't know what's going on there. Josh Heupel is obviously fine. He's not going anywhere. Missouri's head coach, Eli, is not going to get fired anytime soon. Lane Kiffin's safe. Brian Kelly definitely could be out the door if LSU struggles yet again, doesn't make it to the college football playoffs, or if he doesn't even make it to the SEC championship. He's now been there for 4 years. He talked about winning multiple, people thought he was going to go in there and just dominate the SEC and win the titles down in LSU. I mean, yeah, he's 29 wins, but he doesn't win the big games. He struggles. He's 9-5 in bowls. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad head coach, but LSU 10-4, tied for first in the Western, didn't make it. 10-3, second in the Western, 9-4, fourth overall in the SEC once they got rid of conferences when Texas and Oklahoma joined. I mean, he's doing fine. He's won 3 bowl games. He's won every bowl game since being in LSU, but he's not winning any big bowl games. So, but LSU brought Brian Kelly into Baton Rouge to win the SEC, to win national championships, to be that contender, and they have not been that under him. So if he produces another 9-win season, I don't know if Baton Rouge and LSU keep him around much longer. So this would be his 4th season at LSU, and I don't remember the contract that they gave him. I don't know how much longer LSU might have to worry about his buyout. I am trying to see what his contract was down there in LSU. He was the 3rd coach wanting to replace Ed Orgeron. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, it doesn't say his contract. Why don't they talk about his contract? I don't know where all my co-hosts went and Donovan went. 10. Oh God, I didn't know Brian. Yeah, Brian Kelly got a 10-year, $95 million deal. There's Donovan. Hi, sir. We've lost Bill. Bill has not come back for. I don't know what happened to him.
Man, I had an emergency, dude. I'm so sorry. I know you guys are like,
I'm just sitting here talking to myself, trying to keep it going.
I heard you talking. I feel bad. I messaged you guys on this studio chat, and I said I was gonna have to leave at some point.
I had my phone blocking the studio chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I do want to like close out the show at least.
No, yeah, you're fine.
Say goodbye. Yeah.
If you got to go, you got to go. It's fine. Completely understand.
Hey, I would love to be all back on the show again and talk
Yep.
more ball, especially like if you guys are doing anything else this weekend or week 0, a preview or a post recap.
We have next week. There's Bill. Yeah, next week we'll be having the group of 10, whatever you want to call it. Before week 0, the breakdown of the rest of the Power 4 schools.
Brunelli Sports. I gotta. Are we already following each other? I feel like maybe.
Are we? If not, I'll fall.
I've heard it. I've heard of you before.
I've been part of drafts, and Bill and me have been around each other for 18 years.
Oh, that's probably why then, Bill. I mean, that guy. I've been around Bill for.
Yeah, me and Bill have been doing stuff for a long time.
I'll follow you right now. Sorry, I don't want to hijack the show. I'll do that.
No. Since
I was about to leave.
I had some technical difficulties. I hope you guys managed to fill the time.
Yeah, I was filling the time because
I actually just got back on the show, like literally right before you did. I left too. I have a little bit of emergency. I have to leave the show, but I just wanted to say my goodbyes and thank you guys. And I just followed you.
I just followed you right back.
You live in Indiana?
Yeah, I do.
Right? Okay. Well, I cover the Hoosiers for Fansided. So.
Oh, do you really? Yeah. I live an hour from Bloomington. I went to the Michigan game last year.
Man, yeah, we need to definitely chat it up, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't know if you guys are wrapping up the show, but I do have to leave. So I'm
right.
sorry.
Good time. All right.
Right. Well, you timed it well, and I'm glad I got back in time. But yeah, we are just a few minutes away. So for those who are not already following Donovan James at Don James Sports, that's a very simple one, people. It's at Don James Sports. Your life will improve immensely. First of all, Donovan is a first-class human being, but he knows football inside out, backwards, forwards. West Coast, he's got you. Southeast, he's got you. Georgia, good Lord, has he got you. And now he's holding down Florida. He's
Indiana.
Right. There
you know what? I'm still learning Indiana as I go with the job, but I'm getting better, man. I've actually never even been to Indiana, which I always joke about with like people that like follow me and talk to me, like the Hoosier fans. They're like diehard. They're like talking about this high school. I'm like, I'm learning. I'm learning.
I just moved here, so I get you. I've been here for a year now. I just moved from Minnesota.
But okay, gotcha. I live in Northeast Florida. I live in Jacksonville, so
okay,
yeah. Because I know it's a big.
It's been a while since I've been down to Jacksonville.
Hey, well, if you come to Georgia, Florida, or something, well, you're a Tennessee fan, so probably not come to that game. Hate both of those teams, but if you come down, just let me know, man. Thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Always.
Like you said, follow me on Twitter. I learn from the best. I learn from these guys, and just try to be a sponge and get everything going. And yeah, man, thank you guys so much. I just did an interview, by the way, with a kid from Chicago named Jamison Purcell. He just committed to Indiana.
Yep.
He is the first recruit of the 2027 class for Kurt Signetti and Mike Shanahan. Not that Mike Shanahan, though, the Indiana. I know people kind of joke. So I just interviewed him. Please check that out. Jamison's a left-handed quarterback. He's a 4-star. He is his favorite quarterbacks that he wants to be like are Caleb Williams and Joe Burrow on and off the field. So he's got a little swag and juice to him.
Yeah, that's a duel right there. Completely two different types of quarterback play there.
Well, just he likes to be like them on and off the field because they're both been on GQ magazine, and they do play different. But he likes to he's a running dual threat quarterback, so he likes both. So just check that out, man. Thank y'all again, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Donovan. Good having you on the show.
Always a pleasure. So
I followed you, by the way, man.
I followed you back, sir.
Okay, cool. I like you, man. You got some good takes. I like that.
Thank you.
Hey, Donovan, you know what it's like to sit in my co-host chair. Ooh. Nothing but straight quality, right?
Well, Brock was the old co-host. Yeah.
If you want to go old school, Ben Albright, right back in the old days. I've had some dudes.
That means Brunelli Sports is on his way to the top.
He's on his way.
All right, let's calm it down. Thank you. Those are big shoes. Let's make sure I get into my little shoes first.
Yeah, he's had some crazy people in that seat. So
I've had some people. I've done okay. I've been very lucky, very blessed. So as we say goodbye to the amazing Donovan, I want to spend some time talking about draft prospects because that's how the SEC really justifies its existence, right?
I was trying to cover that a little bit while you detected when it was just me sitting here trying to.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So no, you're fine. Yeah, I was just talking a little bit. I kind of went down the list a little bit that you had on the rundown, but I didn't really go over them. So you could definitely go over them a lot better.
And here's the good news, right? If the SEC isn't back in terms of winning national titles, I do believe it's definitely back in terms of having probably like every fourth guy in the first round. They really are, depending on who comes out, right? Depending on who comes out, they really do have a lot of top flight players. Jay Knott is a guy that I have in my top 50 and has a shot. Thank you for talking about him, Donovan, as we say goodbye to Donovan. But he has a shot to crack the first, but he's a guy I have a top 50 grade on. We talked a little bit about the quarterbacks. Frankly, I don't think Arch is coming out. I think Archibald Charles Manning is probably going to play at least one more year.
That his granddaddy had to apologize and said that none of that's true. That he's not Arch has not either said or not. He's not he's
right.
Whatever happens,
Arch has not decided anything, but I'll be surprised. Is what I'm saying. I'll be surprised.
I agree. I don't think he sat for 2 years to play 1 year.
Right. I don't think he sat for 2 years to play 1 year. Exactly. I think that's part of it. I think he wants to have a college experience. I mean, I know it's different now than it was, in Archie's day, but he wants to be a college kid. And he doesn't have to stop being one, right? There's no reason for him to cut it short.
I think he has an amazing nobody's done in that family.
Right. Once again, he's not dragging the Manning family out of the ghetto. So they should be okay if Arch plays one more year at college football. Lenore Sellers, however, is the guy that I think might, if he has a big year, is definitely coming out. Nussmeier, of course,
has to come out, doesn't he?
Right. He's at the end of his eligibility, so that's decided. But I think that there's, as always, a bunch of SEC prospects that will hear their names called in the first 2 days of the draft, and then a decent number even after that. The SEC, brags about this, and they're right to some extent to brag about it, because they've got it. They've got dudes at every position.
They do.
And even the quote unquote bad schools in the SEC have 2 or 3 legit pro prospects. And that's the thing that probably separates them from, when you talk about some of the conferences, that they've even the quote unquote worst team in the conference, which might be Mississippi State or might be Vanderbilt or might be, who knows what Auburn is this year, but
I see. That's all right. So you guys were gone. I talked about Auburn. All right. Yeah. So you weren't here. I did talk about Auburn as my underappreciated program. We talked about how Brent Venables handled the quarterback situation poorly in Stillwater last year in Oklahoma. I like Jackson Arnold. I like that he's down at Auburn as the starting. We believe the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. And I do like that Auburn could be that sleeper team for the SEC this upcoming season.
Yep.
And Hughes Freeze has been successful. Hughes Freeze down there could be very good.
Hugh Freeze does things the Hugh Freeze way, and it usually means wins and then occasionally vacating some of those wins. But I do agree.
NIL is a bit more favorable for him, probably not losing some vacated wins.
Yes, right. But I am in agreement with you that he has a real chance. Dylan Stewart is a guy that is probably has a good shot to go in the top half of the first round, right? He looks the part. Broad shoulders, long arms, narrow waist, powerful, good against the run, and very, very good against the pass, and just a guy that just causes trouble. Even if he doesn't make the play, he creates the chances for someone else to make the play. Colin Simmons is a guy that has a chance to go in the top 15 or so picks of the draft. Not quite as purely explosive, maybe as Stewart, but more polished, a little more polished as an actual pass rusher. 9 sacks, and then a guy that just gets in the backfield a lot, really a bit of a technician, right?
Where is he? I'm blanking on a name for me right now. I'm trying to
think of there was the other pass rusher when Von Miller was there. Who was his running buddy, his partner?
At Texas
Undrafted,
A&M,
undrafted free agent. Had a big year after Vaughn left from Colorado State.
Colorado State, Von Miller. Wait, now you say he transferred to Colorado State?
No, he was. No, there's a kid that, as far as I know, went from junior college to Colorado State. If you count that as transferring, but Joey Porter actually coached him at Colorado State. Oh my gosh, it'll come back to me. But he had a couple of double digit sack years even after Von Miller left. In fact, one year I think he might have actually led the league in sacks.
There it is. Yeah. So the one guy he's a senior, and not a lot of teams are talking about. You want to talk about pass rushers? Tennessee's Joshua Joseph.
That's a good player. Thank you. That's a good call.
He
That's
only had
guy.
a sack and a half last year, but he's a lot, but 3 forced fumbles. He's a lot like Rashawn Gary for the Green Bay Packers. Very raw, very athletic.
Very raw, very big, powerful.
Yeah,
doesn't know what he's doing.
Great pressure. He doesn't get to the quarterback, but he gets the quarterback pressures and makes the quarterback. And he's going to be the guy this year. So Joshua Joseph could be very good this upcoming season.
Ryan Williams might be a top 10 prospect. That's a guy that's going to go fairly early. We already talked about Lenore Sellers. I won't belabor the point on Lenore Sellers. That guy can go anywhere from top 10 to fall into the second, depending on what happens. I have a mid first round grade on Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas.
I think he's the best linebacker in college football.
Yep.
He's going to be, just because of his position is the reason he doesn't go higher.
Right.
It's not a premium position.
Right.
He could be the next Roquan Smith.
No need to talk about Arch anymore. I see some people have a first round grade on DJ Lagway. I do not. I have a high third on DJ Lagway.
I'm fine with it. DJ would have to have a Heisman crazy season, go undefeated for me to even consider him a first rounder.
A lot could happen, right? He does have a lot of talent, and some people have even begun comparing him to Anthony Richardson. Now, I don't know if that's what you want, but
who just got benched by Daniel Jones? No, it's not.
Right, but I've heard some people compare. Now, this is a guy that had 8.7 yards per pass attempt. I mean, he's not afraid to push it down the field.
He's not.
He had a lot of explosive plays. A lot of those explosive plays were second reaction plays, not plays that were called also. So I worry about, is that sustainable? But he is a fun prospect. At the under the spectrum, you have Nussmeier, who I have a mid to late first on, but he could elevate. First of all, he has to stay healthy, right? That's the first thing. Don't get hurt. And I'd like to see him put on a little bit more good weight. He's not skinny exactly, but he's also not physically imposing. I'd like to see a little more in the chest, shoulders, core.
He doesn't look like
body area.
He doesn't have the upper body of a quarterback.
I'd like to see I think 8 to 12 pounds would really do him good. I think Lyle Overton, speaking of pass rushers, is a guy's going to go. Part of it's just the Alabama effect. Those guys always get pushed up a little, in my opinion, bit.
The transfer from Utah for Alabama, junior, Cal Calhoun.
Yep.
He could, if he has another very good season like he did at Utah, he's not a first rounder, but if he wanted to, I could see him being early day 2 or late day 2, early day 3 type of cornerback. He could work himself higher, obviously, but he that's just one to look out for too down in Alabama.
My highest rated volunteer prospect is Jermon McCoy, who I have a mid to late first on, could move himself up with a big year. I mean, maybe you have a sense of how he'll physically test. I don't have a sense of how he looks. Low 4.5s to high 4.4s to me, just sort of watching him, but I don't know. I don't have a real sense of his time speed.
I would say a mid 4.4 is about where he's going to go. His speed. He doesn't get burnt. He can recover, and he's physical. So
right. That I noticed. That's what I like. I like that. Eyeballing him, I was thinking like 4.47, 4.48 to like 4.51, 4.52 at worst.
Yeah, but I would be shocked if he ran in the 4.5s. I would say a 4.7. A 4.5, 4.7 is about, I would think, where I would see him run at the 40.
Yeah, well, I like him. Like I said, I don't yet have a sense of exactly what his time speed will be, but that's why we have the combine.
And he doesn't have to come out.
No, he doesn't. He could come back.
But if he's a first round pick, we're probably screwed.
Yeah, corners usually come out if they get a first round grade. In fact, sometimes they come out when they don't get a first round grade. But yeah, there's some things to like there. Speaking of pass rushers, Kendrick Falk from Auburn is another guy I've sort of latter part of the first round grade on. Jake Slaughter, guard / center, is a guy that I have a mid to early second on. Caden Proctor, I'm sure you guys probably discussed while I was gone. That's a guy that I have outside of the first, but could push his way into the first. He's just barely missed the first. I think he's a second rounder for me at the moment. Jalen Kilgore, the safety from South Carolina, is another guy that could go anywhere from the
as much as I hate South Carolina, I've not there's only been one prospect, and that was the running back from last year.
Yep.
Rocket Sanders. I didn't love Rocket Sanders. I've never not liked a South Carolina prospect. It's kind of insane.
It's kind of weird, but Jalen Kilgore is my number right now, my number 3 or 4 safety, depending on what day you catch me. But he's a guy I think will probably go in the second. I don't think he makes it to the third, but he could make it. Once again, he's probably going to win this. Safeties get pushed down the board for reasons I'll never fully understand.
It is kind of weird that the safeties, linebackers kind of get shunned.
But
you're elite, Kyle. But even look at Kyle Hamilton. Everybody thought Kyle could go in the top 5, and the dude fell into the teens.
14. He went 14, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact is that every great defense has great safeties. And even good defenses usually have at least solid safeties. One thing about every bad defense I've ever seen is they have bad safety play. That's the one thing I'd say about every bad defense I've ever seen.
It's amazing that how important the safety position is, but they always punt the position. It is kind of weird.
Not sure I understand why that happened.
We paid Xavier because we could not draft a safety to fill that hole forever. We paid Xavier McKinney 3 freaking a huge contract. Then we drafted 3 safeties in the draft. Because we just knew that's where we struggled. We took Javon Bullard from Georgia, Evan Williams from Oregon, and
I really like Williams. I'm a big Williams fan. Yeah, I like Evan Williams a lot. I'm gonna keep rolling though. Cam Coleman is an Auburn player that I think could go in the second. Maybe the third. Cam Coleman, the wide receiver.
Oh, geez, another Coleman. Sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay. Cam Coleman is once again raw-ish, but the components, the tools are there. He has a chance. Oh yeah, there's always more Alabama players. Parker Brailsford, Alabama guards. Was it death, taxes, and Alabama guards? He's going to find his way into the second, or at the worst, the third. Let's see. Alabama linebackers, also death, taxes, Alabama linebackers. Dante Lawson. I don't have him in the first, but I think he probably goes in the mid-second. Ryan Wingo at Texas is a guy that I maybe makes it to the third, but I could see going in the second in the right situation. And, of course, Texas A&M, talented dudes who maybe don't quite live up to it. But Cassius, with an H, right, because his mother probably loves money. But Cassius Howell, yet another SEC pass rusher. Stop me if you've heard this before. Raw, talented, hasn't put it all together. But if he does, he goes from being a guy that I have in the top 75 to a guy that probably goes in the top 25 if he puts it all together. The talent is right there. He's got the stuff you look for. My last few guys I want to mention from the conference, yet another Texas A&M player, Armaj Reed Adams, guard / center, is a guy that I think goes in the mid-second, but could find his way to somewhere in that mid-second to third round range. Yet another Texas A&M player. So their offensive line should be much better this year because I have draftable grades on about 4 Texas A&M offensive linemen. But Trey Zahn, the third, is yet another Texas A&M player who I think he's probably a right tackle. He's played both in his career. Then Caleb Banks from Florida is an interesting player. Can play probably multiple positions on the inside of a defense. Not quite your classic sort of squatty-body run plugger, though he is decent against the run, but also can get you some push in the pass game. David Bailey, there you go, Texas Tech. Ding, ding, ding. Late second, possibly early third.
Texas Tech?
Oh, that's right. Wait. Yeah, right. David Bailey, yes.
Yeah, but Texas Tech, that's not the right conference, sir.
That is Big 12, right? They did stay. Okay, there. Yeah, well, we talked about him before anyway. Never mind. Oklahoma's John Mateer has been talked about. We will not mention him again.
What about you're not talking about one school that we've made fun of enough? Vanderbilt. What about Eli?
Yeah, I think Eli Stowers is probably a third rounder, but could go in the second if he tests super well.
Oh, you don't have. Where do you have him as your tight end then? Most people have him as tight end 1 right now.
He's my tight end 3 at the moment. And when we get to prospect rankings, when we do we will have a prospect ranking show, I promise. But let me just plow through these last.
No, you're fine. I just had to add.
No, it's okay. John Mateer, we're not going to talk about because we talked about him enough. Austin Barber. Yeah, Florida. See, you have at least one really good offensive lineman. Another guy that I think probably goes early third, but could push his way into the second with a good year. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma is a guy that I think is also a third rounder, but a big year could push him into the second. And Tyreek, spelled Tyereak, Sap from Florida, is a guy that right now I have a third on, but he gets another guy that could push his way into the second. Auburn's Eric Singleton's been discussed. Tremendously talented player. Losing him really hurt Georgia Tech, but that's a guy that could have a monster year. He could end up a first rounder. I have him with a late second at the moment, partially because due to his situation I don't love. I don't know. We'll see what Auburn does. Like if Auburn's offense clicks, he could definitely be a first rounder. But I haven't seen Auburn's offense click recently, so I'm taking a wait and see attitude there. Florida's Eugene Wilson III, another talented wide receiver. Grayson Halton, interesting interior line player on the Oklahoma defense. If they are better on defense, he'll be a big part of it. Getting close to the end. Georgia's CJ Allen, Georgia linebackers. Got to have at least one of those on your list, otherwise they come and burn your house down. And then we have Michael Taft from Texas, Trevor Goolsby from Texas. Both are guys I have in the third. Georgia's Kristen Miller, another interesting, intriguing interior lineman, is a guy, defensive lineman I think could go in the third, could push his way into the second. And I think I'll stop there. There's other guys I have, but they're guys I have outside the top 100 and, fourth on lower down grades. And we'll save that for like a longer ranking show.
I guess the only two big ones that LSU linebackers, Harold Perkins.
Oh, Harold Perkins. Yeah. I mentioned him briefly earlier. That's my current linebacker 1, but you're right. It's close. Like the gap has narrowed. He could get bypassed in my rankings depending what happens this year.
The SEC probably out of the top 10 have 6 to 7 of the best linebackers in this draft currently. We've mentioned them a lot: Hill, Allen, Perkins, Lawson, Perkins with Ole Miss, Weeks with LSU.
Yep.
So I mean, we're very loaded. It's a very loaded linebacker class for the SEC this upcoming season.
Indeed. Before we close out, I want to thank once again Donovan James. Donovan is always invited to return, and he will. We'll have him back. We always do. Anything else you would like to tell people, Matt? Also, tell people they can find and follow your work. And what are you working on? What kind of stuff are you digging into?
Yeah, no, again, yep. Thank you again to Donovan James. For everybody who didn't get it, it's at Don James Sports. Go follow him on X and all of his other platforms. Again, currently still kind of slowly working on everything. We had our final episode last week of the Mocking With You podcast, so go and catch that on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. That was our Scrubs episodes to finish it off with a little bit of a reunion with Tyler of our old podcast. So you can go catch that final episode. I am currently working on some things in the background for myself, potentially a Packers podcast or a Packers something. I people keep telling me I should because of my takes, because I'm different. So I don't know. I'm kind of just slowly trying to put stuff together since I have a little, one less podcast and have this. I don't know if maybe I'll just focus on this a little bit longer and to tack something next off season and just worry about this and moving forward. But that's currently all I have. You can come find me at Brunelli Sports at X. That's the only place I'm currently at now. And then obviously here at College Football Focus at MBS Sports.
Yeah. And of course, I'm at 11 Bravo. That's the word spelled out, not the number. 138. At 11 Bravo 138. Wherever you, yeah. I think I'm also the same thing on Blue Sky. If you're a Blue Sky person, I am working on. In fact, hopefully finishing tonight. Some preview articles for the end of the preseason and looking towards the season for both the Colts and the Chiefs. Wanted to finish those last night, but didn't. Finishing them tonight, if at all humanly possible. Also, some college football content will be coming from me, both video and writing. I'm going to do some interviews with people who work in college football and how NIL has affected what they do. And I have a series I started a few weeks ago, and I'll pick that back up now that I hopefully, God willing, will have a little free time, knock on wood, in the next few days. And that's about it, kids. I think
college football's back.
Yes. Football is back, baby.
Saturday, first big game, Iowa State, Kansas State.
Yes. We will be watching. We'll probably call each other and watch virtually together. But once again, everyone, to everyone who's been a guest, everyone who's ever watched, everyone's ever anything, we thank you so much. This is something we do because we truly love it. And college football is intoxicating, right? It is literally intoxicating. It is soul crushing. It is exciting. It is beautiful. It is all the things all at once. You fall in and out of love with it week in and week out, and that's why we keep coming back. Once again, on behalf of me and there it is, co-host. There it is, Matt Brunelli. And once again, thanking our guest, Donovan James. We will see you again next week.